Coming up, you never have any true memories.
Huh?
Welcome to our podcast where we take deep dives.
Looking at various topics through a paranormal lens.
Okay, so you guys got the invitations. You made it to the retirement party.
Yep. I was very confused as to the link name, and then I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah, the Zoom link. She was like, I thought this was like an in-person event. I thought we were actually retiring. Yeah, after one episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're officially
We're done.
retiring.
We're done.
Retiring at the
It's a
age of 25.
one and done.
I'm 26.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be 26 literally next month.
Well, I'm still 24.
You're gonna be 25,
I
literally
will
next
be
month.
next month.
So, median 25.
Okay, that's fair, the median. Point being, this is our retirement party, but we're doing it old school style. This is like our first of like 15 farewell tours. So like join us next season for the next, 20 episode long farewell tour, and then we're back. Oh, we got a new name this time. We got a new RSS feed. Oh, finally subscribed to this one. We got a new one.
Got a new one.
We're back.
Suckers, we changed it again.
Well,
Uh,
speaking of retirement, I think that brings us into the topic of what I wanted to discuss today, and this might be controversial. Should haunted locations be retired? How do you guys feel?
isn't it like age 65?
Yeah, I think
Or
that's the
did
retirement age, or has it
did they
gone up?
push it back? They probably pushed it back.
Probably.
So I guess, or it's kind of like when a creative work um, gets published, right? It's like X amount of years since it's published that it's now public domain and it enters the public domain. So maybe it's like that uh, with ghosts. Maybe that should be the case.
Oh gosh.
Um,
There are things in this world we will never truly understand.
understand.
Anyways, enough of the bits. Clearly, I'm just pulling everyone's leg this whole episode. The point is, we've been talking. What you saw a TikTok, didn't you? That kind of jogged this idea of like haunted locations.
Yeah. Do I remember anything about it? No. But
Well, let's insert it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna credit the person that made this TikTok that planted the seed, and we'll play right now.
Spiral about this every couple of months, and I want to genuinely know, at what point do we stop? As paranormal investigators, at what point do we say, okay, we're done in this location, we're good, we do not need to investigate it anymore. We can let the ghosts rest now. Goodbye. At what point does that happen? I think about these very well-known haunted locations, right? The places that we write books about. The places where we probably know the identity of the spirits, and they are more than willing to interact, it seems, because they are there and they show up constantly. But at what point are we gonna leave them alone? The more that I work in the paranormal investigation field, the more evidence I gather that shows that ghosts are actually extremely aware of us. They ask for us by name, sometimes. They know when we're not there, and they ask where we are. They remember us. They interact with the environment when we ask them to. We go in there, hundreds of teams, hundreds of people a year go in trying to get them to communicate, asking them, knock if you're here. Give us a sign. How exhausted do you think they are? Because we do go in and ask these same goddamn questions every single time. I acknowledge there's an issue with this. I am guilty of this too. Like, do we reach a certain time where we as the paranormal collective can just agree that it's good? We know? I don't want it to stop. I don't want to stop going and investigating these locations. And the really haunted ones, the famous ones, I want to get to go to there sometime. I do. But I get stupid emotional when I think about them and how we annoy them all the time.
All right, so that was at spooky.scoundrel on TikTok. Everyone else got context. We did not
That's if we
because
found it.
yeah. So either that was a really awkward transition, or you guys got context, and we did not.
We
still
did
did.
not.
No.
We're still in the now.
Yeah, we're still
Um,
now, but
Yeah.
when you see us, it will be the future and an edited version of the past, which I guess is a poetic reflection of how memory works and what, isn't it? You never have any true memories.
Huh?
Never. What are you talking
Okay.
What are
about?
Okay, settle down, everybody. Settle down. Deep breaths. Why do we think haunted locations should be or should not be retired? Brianna, what have you
that's
been thinking about?
well, see, that's a great question because like when you think about ghost hunting in general, like I feel like a lot of locations that we go to, we run into spirits or entities that's like just don't want to talk to us. Like, go away. No, I'm not interacting with you. I mean,
Or
they still end up interacting with us to an extent, but like at what point do you call it being disrespectful and move on and stop investigating that location?
it
Like,
probably feels like harassment to them at some point.
exactly. Like if you're a person who believes that what you're interacting with was a person at some point, is a person, is beyond their life but is still living in some sort of way. If you have random people tromping around your home, bugging you, wouldn't you get annoyed after of that after a while? Like,
All night long.
exactly.
The definition of a roommate that will not shut up all
Hmm.
night. A night owl. Then every night you have a different roommate, and you don't even who are these people? What are they
Yeah,
doing in my house? Who gave you
exactly.
permission?
So, like one location pops into my head, like thinking about it right off the bat. And this might be controversial because like we're kind of assisting a team in doing a documentary on it, and that's Parashini. But Parashini has such a long history in it. When my older siblings were in school, and before they were even in school, Parashini Cemetery was the party place for high schoolers. So if you go out there nowadays, there's like three headstones that are still intact
Hmm.
because all the other ones were vandalized, stolen. People used to have bonfires out there, and Ben and I have been out at the cemetery during the day, and like every single spirit or entity or anything we came across was like, "Hey, do you want to interact?" No, go away. And I think literally while we were there, random people pulled up because if you're out and about in Grayling, Michigan, know anything about any of the history around there, you gotta stop by Parashini. Everyone stops by Parashini. So quad runners are pulling up, side by sides pulling up. I think literally one person popped out and was air humping a sign.
Oh, they 100% were.
Uh-huh, a
I
hundred
remember you
percent.
guys
And it's
telling me that
like,
story.
yeah. So at some point, when do you say is enough and is enough for a location? Like at some point, those people, possibly, or entities must grow tired of investigators, people coming and harassing them all the time.
Oh,
But like
absolutely.
here's the thing though, like um because that's gonna be like there's gonna be places that are gonna be like popular for the rest for a long, long time,
Yeah.
like people are just gonna be casually walking through the place or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
like is it bugging them when we're just like people are just minding their own business, or is it bugging them when it's we're purposely trying to interact with them?
Yeah.
Well, Piercini is a different breed because minding your own business is still you're essentially trespass. Not everyone is like us. The documentary we're doing is literally we're working with the historical society to investigate the entirety of the story. A lot of these
Yeah.
people that go and they stop by, they're only focused on this heavily vandalized cemetery. And as Bree said, people roll up to a cemetery drunk off their ass. They're grandparents in their grandparents' grandparents, going all the way back generations, have talked about the ghosts and the witch of the cemetery. And they fail to mention there's a whole freaking ghost town surrounding it. The railroad tracks are haunted. The historical society is haunted.
Yeah.
75% of the documentary we're doing
It's just about
has,
the
Yeah.
history.
yeah, has nothing to do with the cemetery.
No, the cemetery
So
is like a small part of it.
yeah, but the
Yeah.
thing is, the cemetery is vandalized. So even if you go and they have no records, all the records are lost of history about the people that are buried there because the vandalism is that bad. Like, you don't even know where the graves are or who is buried there. So
Mm-hmm.
minding your own business, just walking around, you're still disrespecting unless you take a historical and respectful tone and you reiterate that every time you go, like, hey, I'm just here minding my own business. I respect you, all that stuff. If you go in with the intent of respect, then that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But if you go in drunk, humping graves, uh,
My question is,
asking
do the
the
ghosts
same five
actually care
questions,
though? Do the ghosts
Yeah.
care though?
well, you start
It's
asking them questions and they say leave, like respectfully
hmm
leave. So
yeah.
Mm.
The
my
other
favorite is when you ask a ghost, "Are you here?" and they say no.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Because it's like, well, I mean, but you responded, so
it's like a
Help
ghost is
me
like too
understand
nice.
your response right now.
I always take
the
that as a ghost wanting to say, "Get the fuck out," but they're just too nice, and they're like, "No."
yeah. It's
Anywho,
kind of like how when someone asks you to do something and you say no but do it anyways. Yeah. Anyways, but on the other hand, on the flip side, um, you also have these locations where it seems like there's like different entities or spirits that are constantly moving through, like that aren't the same. And I know we kind of had that discussion at Madison.
in Madison
How,
Seminary.
yeah, how when we talked to the owners, they said we don't think that the spirits who were here originally when we got the place are here anymore, and
Hmm.
that whatever is here is something new. So in that kind of circumstance, maybe that kind of location doesn't need to be retired because it's different entities, whereas some of these other locations where these beings and entities are trapped for some reason,
Oh,
like,
Brianna is disappearing.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Anyone watching the video version, two things are distracting me. One, Brenda started disappearing, and Angela, I've no, what the hell are you looking at in the bottom right of your screen? You're like, you haven't looked straight at the camera the entire recording, and I am so distracted by this. What are you doing? What's down there? What secrets are you withholding?
I'm looking at paper.
Like with notes on them, or just like blank paper?
My own personal paper with stuff on it.
Okay.
What? Anyways.
Okay, I'll try to pay attention better.
No. I know you're paying attention, but just if anyone out there has like the neuroses or like OCD or whatever that I have, and it's like, why is Angela looking down there the whole time? Your answer probably satisfied the masses by saying, I'm looking at paper. Oh, with notes on it? Personal paper with stuff. Maybe that'll be our next because we were talking last week about like for a while we're like if we hit 100,000 followers, we'll release the possession tapes. Now, if we have 100,000 followers, we'll release Angela's paper. We'll release the documents,
Oh gosh.
Release the
the
documents.
retirement papers.
The retirement papers.
No, but I think it's twofold, Bree. The when you say a location like Madison Seminary, where a the ghosts are likely transient, they're coming in and out, not the same spirits, but it's also the case of the history, and something that's true to Piercini as well is there's still history that needs to be uncovered and disseminated and talked about because so much of the history at Piercini is lost, and that is why that is really there's two things at Piercini why it is haunted. One, the graves have been disrespected, but if you zoom out a little bit, past the vandalism, past the cemetery itself, there's no records. The history is lost. When there's no
Mhm.
history and all these lives, this town is gone. that leaves a hole.
Mhm.
This town
Yeah.
is haunted. That is a haunting. That's history wanted to be remembered, right?
Yeah.
And talked about.
Yeah.
At Madison too, there's so many mysteries. Who is Sarah? This is like the main mystery, but also what the heck? There's like so many mysteries going on in Madison and so much history that needs to be uncovered that there's a reason why people should still go there.
Yeah.
Even if you go to Madison Seminary or if you go to Piercini and any of these locations, even if you go and you do alternate experiments, do paranormal tests, do something other than doing an EVP session, asking the ghost the same 5 million questions everyone else asks.
Hmm.
There's still like history there there's a reason to go. If you go to a place like Waverly Hills, for example, where every single TV show ever to exist
Ever been.
has done an episode at Waverly Hills. And if you look at, we were talking last week about like the basic 5 act structure of these shows, all of them start with the history section. You can swap that history section in and out of any of these shows dating back 10 years, 20 years. Even the ones filmed a year ago versus the ones filmed in 2005, I think is when Ghost Hunters went there. There's nothing, it's all the same, it's the same location, the same history,
The same
it's
script.
literally the same script. There's nothing new. No one wants. We're big on looking at history through a paranormal lens because that's a fresh lens. That's you makes it engaging and exciting for we always say like our generation, but like all generations. Like this is a interesting and fresh perspective. But when you look at only one tiny sliver of history and hammer it down through that single perspective, like at that point either move on from the Waverly Hills story, no one cares anymore, or look at it from a different angle.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if that involves retiring the location, retire the location. Because there's also speculation that and this is all hearsay. I don't know if we should. We have one rule, and that's like we don't call out individuals and businesses, locations. I guess that kind of is like a fine line. But anyways, I heard allegedly, this is not confirmed, that someone at some point brought something darker to Waverly Hills that didn't exist there.
Yeah,
Um,
isn't that a theory?
yes, and we've been
That's how, like,
told by people
Hmm.
that would know that
yeah.
that someone involved.
Kind
I'm
of,
not saying the owners, not I don't know who. Maybe
yeah.
someone that runs a ghost hunt or something. But someone allegedly brought something there so that it would be active on
Yeah.
TV.
Hmm.
But then
Hmm.
I've heard that from multiple different people before, actually.
you've heard it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But like like we said, that's just a theory. We're not
Yeah.
saying it's true.
I mean, so you
But
We've
like
never
so
been there.
so when
We
you
have
get
no
to
opinion
get
about
to
it.
that point of a building that is haunted where it seems like you have to bring in something else to keep it interesting,
hmm
at that point the location should just be retired. Like
Yeah.
let
Uh-huh.
let them rest.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, at some
Waverly
point,
was my first thought. It's like there's no new history to be uncovered. You're allegedly bringing things in just to keep things exciting for your paying customers.
mhm.
You're operating as a business, which I know is like one of the counter arguments against retiring it because it's bringing in a lot of business and people to the town. But also it's Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, it's not like
Kentucky.
there's a counter argument to the frickin' I mean, like where the heck is the Villisca Axe murder house? That's in the
That's
middle of
in
rural Iowa.
Iowa.
So think about it like rural Iowa. You have all these people coming in bringing money. They book hotels, they go out to eat. That's bringing a lot of money into the town. Also, if you have a paranormal investigator, paranormal enthusiast that comes from rural Iowa, how many spots do they really have to be able to get started and go out ghost hunting? So you're taking away a prime location from them. But if you're in like a major city, like there's other spots in Louisville, I don't think Waverly Hills is really going to affect the. I mean, I don't know. This is getting into trickle
Well,
down economics, but
the Waverly Hill is well, it's also more than just ghost hunting. I mean, look at the place. It's big. It's ginormous. it has history, it's gorgeous. It's more than just ghost hunting to the place too. Like when you say retirement, like what does that mean exactly? Does that mean like just stop the ghost hunting part? Or like, cause could you still keep the place open to the public? Or
I
is
mean,
that still disturbing the peace for the ghosts?
yeah,
You
that's a
know?
great question. I mean, it's up for debate. Like,
Yeah.
I would say retirement wise in my brain, like no, like no more ghost hunting there because that's like I feel like you could still have a building like that open,
Yeah,
it
Mm-hmm.
seems like.
I
you
feel like
shouldn't
having
close
places
down.
like that open and
Hmm.
letting people explore and see the history of it, that's also very important. Like I
Yeah.
shouldn't just close stuff
Yeah.
like that
I don't
down,
know.
I feel
I
like.
guess it's debatable, but like we're also talking theoretically here. Like,
Yeah.
when is anyone ever actually going to retire a haunted
Yeah.
location?
I
It's
mean,
never
See,
gonna happen.
yeah.
well, so here's the thing. It's never going to happen. Why? Because it's a business.
Exactly.
So, but here's the thing. So reframe that. I think we all agree it would be a terrible disservice to close any historical location because you're that it's the same thing as like erasing history if you make it
Yeah.
inaccessible. And it's the same thing in both ways. We all know the location that charges like $3,000 to go investigate. That's also excluding and essentially erasing history if everyone's like priced out of it. But if you close it
Yeah.
down for good, we're not saying that, but I think there are ways you can still. This sounds bad
Be
when you phrase it
ethical
like
and
this.
respectful
Be
about,
Yeah.
ethic, be ethical and respectful in how you exploit your location's history and potential spirits for profit,
yeah.
Yeah.
which is a very ethical thing to do.
Hmm. So one example, it probably isn't really an example because they don't really broadcast that they're haunted. It's Traverse City State Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've never broadcasted that they're
They're
haunted.
very
Like, they
against
don't
it.
talk about it a lot because they're trying to, renovate it and like rebuild the old buildings and make it more into condos and
Yeah.
an actual place to live and
Other
a
businesses
community.
and things.
And
Yeah.
but you still can go on those tours, like the historical tours, and go out and about and like see the location, learn about the history, which the history is phenomenal. And if you haven't done the tour at Traverse City State Hospital, I would highly recommend it because like a lot of practices that happened there and like I don't want to call it experimentation, but kind of experimentation in creating a joy an
And
inviting environment for patients in a psychiatric hospital where it seems like it's terrible. I mean, it is terrible, but making it seem welcome, like a lot of things, they made leaps and bounds in that hospital to create what we have today. So,
Mm-hmm.
were
if
they
you've
no, no, it was Eloise. One of them, I think it was Eloise though, like kind of pioneered music therapy. But I think that was
Mm-hmm.
Eloise. Also in
maybe.
Michigan.
Yeah. But no, like the one thing that I remember off the top of my head, because I mean, Munson is a big hospital in Michigan.
What?
And Munson?
Oh, there's a monsoon.
No, Munson.
I'm like, that's not a
And
hospital. Like, that's like, you go straight into the.
yeah,
You're just trapped in a monsoon. Do we even get monsoons in Michigan?
no.
Okay.
But Munson, Dr. Munson, he was one of the doctors who worked there. And one of the things that comes to my mind, like right off the bat, is if you go into like the women's ward of the hospital, it has these big, grand, arched ceilings. It's feels so open and eerie. And that is one of the things that he started developing and like introducing into these hospitals to make it feel open, to help settle the patient's brains and make them feel more at ease because they didn't feel trapped and confined.
Yeah.
So, but as I was saying, you could consider a place like the Traverse City State Hospital like a retired location because they don't broadcast that they're paranormal. They don't do paranormal investigations. If you get the right tour guide at night, yeah, they'll talk about the haunted stuff. They'll let you look around, but you're
Yeah.
not really allowed to bring equipment. You don't take pictures, or you don't take videos. You don't do actual investigating.
But they let you
And
walk around at night, so
but they
people
let
that
you
are
walk.
interested
Yeah.
can go
So,
there at night on a dark tour, which is
hmm
still, as you're
which
saying, talking about like the positive stuff that the hospital did.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a historical tour, and yeah, of course people go on. Like I went on that tour, and I had an EMF detector and a full spectrum camera, and I happened to get the guy who was a paranormal investigator and was like, "Yeah, I don't care, do your stuff." But in those sorts of situations, like you're one person or a couple people, you're in a spot for like 5 minutes, and then you move on to the next spot. And yeah, you could definitely tell there were some entities there that were like, I'm over it, go away. And the tour guides are there all the time, and they're like, yeah, that's so and so, leave him alone. Like they know.
Yeah.
And that's a I think that's a very, very respectful way to go into a building or a location that one has such a incredible history, but also two, not a great history. Like, yeah, unfortunately, there was a lot of bad things that happened in the hospital, like overcrowding, understaffing, all
Hmm.
this other stuff that's not so great that they don't really talk about on the tours.
Well, I think they should
And
talk about everything, but
yeah, they do talk about it a little bit, but they try to look more on the positive side because
Yeah.
who wants to look at the dark side of history, unfortunately.
I mean, you should. That's how you learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
I know.
anyways, yeah. Um,
So
I get it. Yeah.
I forgot what track I was on. But either way, like it's definitely I feel like that is a better way to preserve history while retiring in quotations a location.
Hmm.
Um,
And
because
we,
you're still not bothering, like, I mean, yeah, you can still bother the entities and spirits that are there, but still look at it in a different light and be more respectful. Because if you're not respectful, they kick you out of that tour. Like you're done.
Yeah.
I remember when we were just walking the grounds. We didn't do a tour. We were just like walking around trying to peek inside the buildings, and something weird did happen. It wouldn't let me film at all inside the building. Like I know you said
Oh
there's a
yeah, yeah,
rule.
at the men's ward.
Yeah, there's a rule that when you can't film the tour, which is like a
Mm-hmm.
common rule because it's their IP and everything. So you
Hmm.
can't film the tour, but you can walk around and there's no one stopping you from like, taking social media videos or whatever. Um, I tried getting a little video inside the window and peeking in. It wouldn't let me. It would take me take as many photos as I wanted. So I have a bunch of photos, but I have no video because it would not work.
Yeah, I
So
remember
that's
that.
kind,
Really?
yeah, that's kind of like something just being like, yeah, no, we don't want that. So I was like, all right, I respect you, and walked away. But this did jog my thinking, my motors. I do have a couple up there. Um, is if a location is retired, should they go all the way? Like if there are still spirits at Traverse City, for example, which we believe
Yes.
there are,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
just
there
because
definitely are.
just because you're not asking them at nauseum 5 million times a night what your favorite color is, you're still getting these people walking into their space, sharing the history about them, speaking for them about how they died, and if what if someone did die in a unfortunate or traumatic, way at this hospital, and then you have this tour guide come in and be like, "We were so positive, nothing bad ever happened here," and then you have a ghost in the
Okay, I
corner
feel like I
screaming,
represented that poorly and
screaming
like
like, "No, tell my story correctly," and then you don't have any ghost hunters coming in to even provide the opportunity to tell the story in the way that's accurate to the individual.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, should you go
Mm-hmm.
all the way and just cleanse the location?
Yeah, that's a good
Send the
question.
spirits to the light.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the hell that means, but that's a topic for another day. But you know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, do they then like what if there's an increase in activity? Should there not be a retirement, or should there just be like a pause, like a factory
Yeah.
reset?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like I don't know, because I'm talking all theoretical and there is no real right or wrong answer, I feel like. Um, I don't know.
Who knows?
I didn't think this hard about this topic, honestly.
I
I'm
didn't
like,
even
hey.
I didn't even know what to think about it because I never
Yeah.
thought about this before.
Yeah.
Well, you have all
I
those
mean,
notes,
isn't
Angela.
like when you think about it a little bit, or when you think about the ethics of ghost hunting, one of the things we do a lot is, or have done a lot in the past, is investigate cemeteries. Well, that in itself is a little controversial because there's
Oh,
people's families and relatives that are buried there, and they don't
Hmm.
necessarily want a whole bunch of random people ja jaunting around a cemetery where their family is buried and stirring up trouble.
Hmm.
And so that in itself is like an ethical dilemma of paranormal
okay.
investigating. So when you look at it in that standpoint of a location, like it's kind of falls within the same range of like, should it or should it not be investigated? Should we leave
Hmm.
the spirits alone?
Well, I
That
think
sort
there's a
of thing.
proper way to do it. I mean, as long as we've been investigating, I try my best. I mean, we're not always perfect at it, but I try my best not to include close-ups of like the names on the graves or
Yeah.
like, unless it's highly relevant to the story and the lore. Like if there's one grave that's said to be like, they're a notable historical figure and they're said to be haunting it. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time it's from a historical angle, or if it's like there's always like the one grave that's misidentified as a witch and then
Yep.
that grave gets vandalized. So we bring it up in order to dispel the rumors and minimize in our attempts, because we do in some ways when we go and we repeat these legends, we have a responsibility to at least minimize some of the damage literally that can occur to the graves once you insert a grave, a specific person's grave into a legend. There are assholes that, as we saw with Piercini, will vandalize. So trying to
Hmm.
dispel legends, more than sensationalize them. But anyways, I do try to take out all close-ups of in pictures and videos of the actual names on the graves, unless it is highly relevant to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also, cemeteries are controversial for another reason that I didn't even like think about at all until like very recently. For some reason, there's been like an influx in comments we've been getting just like in the past year of people, like tons of people, not just one guy or two guys or whatever. A lot of people have been commenting saying, I believe in ghosts, but cemeteries aren't haunted.
Hmm.
A lot of people think this. A lot of people, they don't even acknowledge or think about the ethical reasons.
They just don't think it's haunted.
They just don't think a cemetery would be haunted. And this is like a widespread thing within the paranormal community. People think there's ghosts, like firm believers, like believers to a fault. Like they believe every dust speck is their
Yeah.
dead ant, talking to
Mm-hmm.
them, and they see
Mm-hmm.
faces and
But like,
pixels, but they don't think
I
they
mean,
they,
why?
they, they can find ghosts in their in the poor quality low res picture of a dust particle they scanned and then posted on Facebook, but it's beyond comprehension to find a ghost in a cemetery. Have you guys heard of this?
I
I
I
I
can
feel
believe
like I
there are
haven't
people,
heard of
but
it, but I definitely could understand why they might think that.
I can't understand why.
Well, 'cause if you think about it, cemeteries is where a person's body goes to rest. And
Hmm.
theoretically, in like any religion that you think of, like the soul leaves the body upon death. It's not necessarily gonna stick around it and follow it to a cemetery. If anything, it's going to be stuck in the location as to where they
I
passed
just
away.
I just feel like it's maybe because I believe there's more than just like human ghosts out there. I believe that there's other entities out there and stuff. Like there's like these entities that guard like the living side from the afterlife side, you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's where those type of things would be at. And that's why I would be like they would definitely be haunted still, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's
it cemeteries have to do with so much death. Like there's death involved with cemeteries.
But
That's
the
where all
thing
the
with
dead people
cemeteries, though,
go.
is like, yes and no that they're about death because technically the people who go there are already dead.
Hmm.
So the death has already happened.
True.
What's
Well,
going
I'm
there
not
is just a shell
well,
of
two
what's
things. Two
left.
things. One, you don't know this is a shell. You have no idea
True.
what
True.
happens. You have uh religious and theoretical, not saying the religious stuff is or
Oh,
is
yeah.
not theoretical, but you have theories and then you have religion and you have all these frameworks to help explain but not define what happens
hmm
after you die. If the
Mm-hmm.
soul leaves the body, there is residual energy. So if you can just touch a door handle and then you leave your energy on that door handle that ghost hunters can communicate with for centuries after. If it's that easy to give residual energy, who's to say when the soul leaves the body, there isn't some residue still in the body?
True.
There isn't
Yeah,
some
and
residual energy.
when it
Plus,
comes to like when people do like burials and funerals or whatever at cemeteries or graveyards, there's that energy from
all that
family
grief.
A lot
members
of
too, and then
emotion.
grief that could be stuck there to extent too. Like hauntings might not just be associated with the death; it could be associated with even living people leaving their energy at the spots that could turn residual and stuff like that.
True.
And
Yeah, absolutely. I
as
actually didn't think of
Angela's
it that way.
as Angela said too, the or was getting at, graves, cemeteries, very liminal spaces. You literally have these people in the earth. They're soaking up in the earth,
Uh-huh.
and these graves are like thresholds, and people convene at these very liminal spaces in very liminal times of their life, where they're coping the loss of family member, friend, they're grieving, they're literally at a crossroad in their own life, and of curiosity, who knows? And they're
Yeah.
going while at this crossroad, at this liminal time in their life, they're going to this liminal space, this grave, to give heavy emotion.
hmm
That could be the perfect recipe for either a person's, residual energy to linger behind, or for something not human, not saying
Could come
an
through.
entity per se, but something more residual and just kind of in the air. There's a
Hmm
feeling at cemeteries sometimes. I feel like that feeling can be associated more with that than because there's no way we talk about like vibes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Brianna, you had an instance at Soup Cemetery where you felt a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you describe that? What happened for the new
A
listeners?
describe so when I felt a vibe, quote unquote, Soup Cemetery was we were just walking across the cemetery, gonna go wrap up our investigation, and I hit what I could almost call like a wall of energy. At the time, it felt negative or bad. Who's to say what it is? I had never felt anything like that before, but I just hit this wall of energy that just made me stop in my tracks, and I'm like, whoa, this
That's
is weird.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, like in the moment, like looking back on it, it's like, was that bad? Was it negative? I don't know. But in that moment, it was not right. It was
Yeah,
not in the normal.
my whole point is like that's like an intense experience, and that's not something you get at all these locate like if you go to a random haunted like hotel nearby and you're just like in a hotel room and you're like asking the 5 million
Yeah.
questions that we think should lead to
Yeah.
location making of
I
death.
don't
But like that's not like
Something that
Susie
you come
buried.
across all the time.
That's not dead Susie walking around or dead
Mm-mm.
Susie.
David. I don't know, Susie and David, who I don't know who these people are, but it's not like it's like those dead people rising from their graves just walking around, causing you to walk into a wall of energy. Like that's all I'm getting is like that
Mm-hmm.
wall feeling, that vibe sometimes. Like that could be the more residual energy or just
Yeah.
intense emotions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. And I honestly had never thought of it that way. Like being residual energy of people who have come to the cemetery. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting way to look at it.
I've
Um,
also heard of like the spirits. Like if you can't get past the idea that there's human spirits and demonic spirits, or like there's like many frameworks. There are people that think everything's a demon. There's people that think there's
Yeah.
humans, demons, well, and I guess angels too. Um, no one ever talks about the angels. Maybe we should dedicate an episode to the angels. No one talks about them. Um,
be
anyways,
not
but
afraid.
yeah,
Some people have strong opinions about angels. Remember that one person said to us when we were at a bar once, Ben?
no.
Just came up to you and was like, "You can't trust, don't ever trust an angel," and just walked away.
How do I not remember this?
It was in Eau Claire after the film festival.
Oh,
Remember
no, I
that?
don't know. Was this at the after party for the film
Yeah,
fest?
yeah.
Oh, that's probably why.
He
Wait,
didn't
wait.
explain why. And we went up and talked to the person afterwards, and it's just,
Was this the person's name was this
oh my God, yes, it was.
well,
It was. I
my
wasn't thinking it was. I wasn't thinking it was. It was. Oh my God.
my first thought is what are you named after? Angel
Angel. Yeah, is he saying
You don't need to look at your notes for that. You know take off one letter of your name. It's an angel.
I can't be trusted? Can I say?
You got these mysterious papers. Oh my god, the angels are conspiring.
Oh Lord.
Anyways,
Well,
but
this
no,
topic
no, I
has.
didn't even say what I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay.
I was gonna say people who can't get past like demons, angels, humans. I've heard before that people think like, why if you are buried, in whatever cemetery, wouldn't you want to like visit yourself or like see who's paying respects to you like on the anniversary of your death? Like people think like spirits come back to check in on their grave and make sure it's like people care about them, it's not vandalized. That
Yeah.
sounds like more of a stretch than um, some of the other stuff to me, but I know I just want to get it out there that people do think that.
Hmm.
Um, I think the point being is we all think cemeteries can be haunted,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I guess
but
it. Yeah.
should
Yeah.
locations be retired? What's our kind of like final takeaways as we
Yeah.
roll into like getting back on track?
In an ideal world, I think the idea of retiring a location to let the energies, the entities, the spirits be from having many years of disturbance finally rest, take some time for themselves, figure out what's beyond the afterlife would be in an ideal world great. But also at the same time, like you brought up, without people like paranormal investigators, historians, other people who look at properties and unfortunately disturbing those entities, how are they ever going to like move on, get their stories told, those sorts of things. So there's a very fine line, unfortunately, to walk. And also, like we talked about, there's the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, popular locations are never going to actually close because it's a trickle-down effect.
I I love what you said, because I think you nailed like the perfect business name that we can perhaps pursue next, beyond the afterlife.
Beyond the afterlife.
The office of the paranormal office of retirement services, where we do consulting for haunted locations to uh, figure out the best and most cost effective way to retire a location while still bringing in profit. And I need to check to see if someone already took the LLC of this, but the domain is available for a penny. So
Gosh.
before
You're already looking it up.
before this episode airs, I will have purchased this domain beyond the afterlife. And if we want to pursue this as a business venture, perhaps.
Send us a message.
So,
Okay, I think
so
that's
much.
a good way
Yeah,
to end
we
this.
got we talked a lot more about this. It went in so many different directions than I expected. So I feel like we covered a lot.
All right, well, I think we are in terms of tangents cursed to repeat that next week. Wink, wink, nod, nod. See you next week for a mysterious topic that Angela may or may not be taking notes on mysterious papers. See you, everyone. Peace
Bye.
out.